Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol, and welcome to the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Only this one's a little bit deranged. Now, for anyone who's been following me for any amount of time, you may well know that I have a little bit of a soft spot for an Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. I absolutely love them. And I've been really lucky in the time I've been doing YouTube to have spent quite a bit of time in one with press cars. I even maxed one down the runway at VMAX 200. I just think they're sensational. Beautiful things to look at. The dynamic capabilities of them on a B road are incredible. They belie their SUV format. They are brilliant handling cars down the tight and twisties, and they are really fast too, and they make an amazing noise. So what would happen if you decided the looks maybe weren't, I don't know, aggressive enough? Maybe you wanted to up the ante a little bit. Well, what's behind me is what would happen, and it is truly deranged. Now, thanks to a good mate of mine, David Bush, I've got access to the car behind me that I first saw just a week or so ago when I did my SEC Private Members Day. And actually that was the day that David picked up that car, and I saw it and went, mate, I need to get that on the channel. That is sensational. So David said, well, come down and drive it. So you may well recognize the surroundings. I've been here before. This is where I drove David's Aston Martin GT12, his DBS Superleggera, and his beautiful Vantage AMR 59. I'll put links to all of those videos in the description below. And I've been really looking forward to this video. So let's have a good look around the car. It's predominantly an aesthetics and styling job rather than any tuning and engine work, but it is a truly, well, I just think it's cool, man. Really, really cool. So we'll start at the front, although I am in two minds as to whether I prefer the front or the rear view of the car, because they're both pretty epic, to be fair. Standout feature, first of all, is this lovely satin carbon fibre finished bonnet. It's the creases, the vents, the louvres in the bonnet just make it look really mean, and when you're sat in the driver's seat you look out over the bonnet and you can see that kind of sculpting, and you just know you're in something a little bit different from a standard Stelvio. On the front you've got, again, all the additional bits. This is now again in satin carbon fibre, and it just makes the front look even more mean than it is. I think the Stelvio's always had a really good looking front end anyway, but the bonnet and that splitter just up the ante a little bit. But all the really special stuff that really makes this car stand out, if you like, happens around the side of the car with these very dramatic arches, both at the front and the rear. Now, they've been painted body colour, and what I would say is the work that Deranged have done here it doesn't look aftermarket at all. You actually struggle to look and work out which bits they've done and which bits are standard Alfa styling. It's been done that well. And these big wide arches clearly give the car a very mean and aggressive stance, but what they also allow is for a particularly large set of alloy wheels, 22-inch Vossen alloy wheels. Tyre profile is 265 at the front, 295 at the back, shod with Michelin Pilot Supersport tyres. So that just makes the car look so squat and so angry. One of the things I'm going to be interested to find out when we start to drive the car As I said, there are no engine modifications, so it's standard power output, but these different wheels with a different track, I wonder whether that's going to affect the handling or change any of the dynamic characteristics I love so much about the car. As you come down the side, you've also got, again, satin carbon fibre side skirt. Again, that just, I think it just links in the two arches and again makes the side profile of the car look really nice. But then the back end of the car, oh, this is cool. So before I get to the very back, these rear arches I think are lovely. I love this detailing of the vent in here, and it just makes that rear three-quarter view of the car very dramatic indeed. But if we want dramatic, it doesn't get much more dramatic than these two standout pieces of satin finished carbon fibre. So this first top spoiler actually is sitting on top of the standard spoiler you'd get on the Stelvio, and then you've got this huge lip spoiler that just makes the back of the car look so cool. Coming down to the bottom, interestingly, I'm not sure whether this carbon fibre splitter is part of the Deranged pack or part of the standard Stelvio pack, and that's what I'm saying about the line between where Deranged have done their work and where Alfa have is a really fuzzy one because it's been done so well. Last thing, exhaust wise, so this is a 2018 car, and there's nothing been done to the exhaust. It's a completely stock exhaust. The only thing that has been done is that the software has been changed, because normally in a Stelvio you only get the valves fully open and all the loud shouty barky things happening in race mode. And in race mode in the Stelvio, what that basically does is backs all the traction control off. Now, actually, that in a Stelvio, that's not a massive problem because you've got four-wheel drive, you've got plenty of grip, and you can drive one of these things around in race mode all the time, making lots of noises. That's not the case for the Giulia Quadrifoglio. But what that means is, in D mode, we're able to get the pops and bangs. You don't have to go all the way into race. But yeah, beautiful. And then the last really, really subtle touch from Deranged, just a little badge there to let people know who's done the work. But next thing we need to do is jump in the car, take it for a spin, and just explore whether or not this bigger, wider track, bigger tyres has altered or changed or affected the handling that I love so much about the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Okay, out and about in the Deranged Stelvio. It's been a while since I've been in one of these, and I kind of just sat back in the driver's seat and remembered why I love them so much. Now, interestingly, this car has the comfort seats. The Stelvios I've had in the past have always had the carbon back sport seats, which look amazing, but actually in a long journey aren't as comfortable as you would hope. But these are much, much more comfortable. And interestingly, talking to David, the owner, he was saying that one of the things he likes about this car the most is, although it has outlandish looks on the outside, actually as a place to drive and be, it's really, really comfy, and you can kind of properly use it. This is his daily, properly use it as a daily and enjoy the car. I am, however, going to take it from N mode up into D mode, so I should get a little bit more noise. Now, oh, there she is. Now, the thing I am noticing straight away is it does feel like a much wider car, like much wider. I'm not sure the exact extra width dimensions, but I'm coming up into this little village with a width restrictor, and it just feels like a wider, more imposing car, that's for sure. Now, I guess when you put a set of 22-inch wheels on a car, you're always going to pay a bit of a price. It's going to be different dynamically. There's kind of no getting away from that. The big question is, with this car, is it going to damage or spoil, if you like, the things I love most about the Stelvio? I think it's safe to say so far, the looks and the noise. And this is actually, I know with the more modern versions of Stelvio and Giulia, you can get the valve to open up in D mode, and it just makes such a difference. I'm pretty sure when I had the model year 2020 Stelvio and Giulia on the channel recently, I banged on about it quite a lot, that I couldn't understand why Alfa didn't do it, and I believe you can do it now. But if we just listen to this noise, See, that's standard. Why wouldn't you want to do that all the time? So now we're on a bit more of a bit of flowing road. Let's just try and feel the car and see. It's got a really nice kind of stable positioning in the road. It's not tramlining too much. I can feel the difference of the bigger wheels and the bigger tyres, but so far it doesn't really make me not like them being there, if that makes sense. As I said, there's no engine tuning been done. It's just standard. I think 510 horsepower in one of these, four-wheel drive. But the fact that you can access the noise and the drama and the theatre of the standard Stelvio open valved exhaust in D mode just makes this car even more fun. You don't have to push it into race mode, and it's got, I mean, it should have a bit more traction because the tyres, the amount of rubber I've got connected to the tarmac is significantly more than in a standard Stelvio. And so far I am happy to report that this car drives just as brilliantly as a normal Stelvio Quadrifoglio, and yet it looks way more badass. Am I allowed to say that? Is that one of these phrases where you can only say it if you're under a certain age? Notice I haven't called it sick because, well, I'm 49. It's not allowed for me to use that word. It's not really a bit of vocabulary that should be in anybody's arsenal in maybe over the age of, I don't know, 18. But let's face it, it is pretty sick. God, I love these things. So yeah, I think I have a new favourite Alfa Romeo, and it's the Deranged Stelvio. What a thing! I mean, I'd love to know what you think about it. Now, interesting, I've never been a massive fan of the whole wide-bodied thing. You know, something like a Liberty Walk. I've seen quite a few Liberty Walk cars, and they are like, poster cars are great, but when you actually see them up close and you think, could I live with that? And you think, oh, not really, it's a show car. But what I love about this car is it has all the looks, and you know, it's certainly going to draw a crowd. The really cool thing is this is the only one. It is a one of one, and I know that's one of the things that David loves about it the most, is it's a unique car. But it's something you could live with on a daily basis. I think the looks are outrageous, but they are still within the bounds of acceptability. And the styling changes, especially these really big 22-inch wheels with a very wide track. I really did worry that it would have damaged the thing I love most about the Stelvio, which is how it handles. And it's not. In fact, it's not really changed it a great deal. I can't test it in the wet today, obviously, but you know, this road's got a fairly aggressive camber on it, and it's not tracking too much. Yeah, really impressive. I love this car. I forget just how quick these cars are. They're sensational things. And they put a massive smile on your face. Now, a couple of things, just internally, there's nothing done to the inside of this car whatsoever, but the base car that Deranged have used has been spec'd beautifully anyway. It's got quite a lot of the extra carbon work, so steering wheel's got loads of carbon on it, door cards, lovely carbon on the dash, centre console. It just looks really, really nice in here. So I don't think they really needed to do anything to make it look any more special than it already was. See? Why? Oh man, you gotta love one of these. You gotta love one of these. Brilliant things. nice bit of road that I know. I'm going to stick it up into race, because even though we get all the drama in D mode, there is something about driving one of these in race on the manual box. And they go like stink. Oh my days. And actually, when you get the car on a bit of open flowing road, it behaves brilliantly. And I think that's testament to what Deranged have done, really. It's made the car look brilliant, but they haven't compromised the car at all, and it's just still a Stelvio I love, but with looks to die for. Phew! I thought I'd be a bit disappointed. I thought there must be some compromise. I thought it would maybe ride terrible or track badly or whatever, but it just doesn't. It's just brilliant. And I now really, really want one. Sadly, this is the only one. So unless I can persuade David to part with his toy he's had for less than 2 weeks, somehow I think I'm just going to have to keep dreaming. What a thing. So there you go, guys. I'd love to know what you think of this. And I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But, you know, there is almost a part of, I know, heresy in me that says, oh, you take an Alfa Romeo and then you start doing stuff to it. But they've just made it look so cool. It's just a brilliant looking thing. It's fun. It's fun and mean and aggressive and unique and characterful, and yeah, very, very cool. I'll put the details for Deranged below. Check out their website. They do some amazing vehicles, but for me this is the best one they've done, because they've taken a car I love and made it even more cool, and I now want one even more. But massive thank you to David for well, for inviting me down to drive the car. And we had a chat when we were at the SEC gig a couple of weeks ago and said, look mate, I'd love to drive the car. And I've got plenty more stuff I'm going to be doing with him. Sadly today, he's also got a beautiful Lamborghini Huracan Performante that I was going to drive today, but I just haven't had the time to do both cars today. So I am going to come back and do that, you'll be pleased to know. And he's got some other lovely stuff and another amazing project that he's currently working on that I'm going to get involved in, which is really, really exciting. So more stuff coming to the channel very soon, basically involving awesome cars. I mean, David has an incredible collection of cars anyway. I've had 3 on the channel. As I said, Performante coming soon. He's also got a beautiful Pista. But yes, thank you, David. You are a superstar, my friend. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film. You take care. Drive safe, and I'm going to head back and enjoy this car while I can.